In the last 23 years, Carl Kasgaard and Halifax 57 Rescue have accomplished some incredible achievements in aviation. From a world record lift from Lake Meos in Norway to the recovery from a forest in Harrodsburg in Belgium, Halifax 57 Rescue is well known and respected for its work honoring our veterans. From Canada and Malta to Great Britain and Sweden, this international organization is based in Nanton, Alberta and Dunrobin, Ontario. Halifax NA337 has been restored and resides at the RCAF Trenton Museum in Ontario. Halifax LW682 has been used for parts and the aluminum melted down into ingots. These ingots can be found in RCAF plaques in Florida, Colorado, and at the War Memorial in Richmond, Virginia. General Hood, RCAF Commander.
As Commander of the Air Force, I'm going to graciously accept the kind donation from the Halifax 57 project of ingots from a 426 Halifax that was crashed. And these ingots represent a large part of our history in our Air Force. It represents an aircraft that most of the Canadians in Bomber Command would have flown, and it recognizes the sacrifice, commitment of all those young men those many years ago. It's my intent as we transition back to our old wings to use some of this metal from that 426 Halifax and put them in the new wings we're creating for the Royal Canadian Air Force. If you come here, Scott, you can see our previous wings were gold in nature, and we're going back to our roots and recreating them in silver. So all of our wings across the Air Force will be silver, and all of them will contain a certain amount of this great donation from you that I'm forever grateful for. Thank you.
2 locations in England, the Bomber Command Memorial in London's Green Park, features LW682 ingots in its ceiling, and a special plaque made from the ingots as part of the Bomber Command Center in Lincoln, Lincolnshire, the home of many Bomber Command bases. From British Columbia, Halifax Hercules engines have been restored and are on display in Nanton. In the last 2 years, efforts have been made to continue the objectives of finding and rebuilding a second Halifax for Canada. This Halifax will be displayed at the Bomber Command Museum in Nanton, Alberta. We have 2 rebuild shops, one in Nanton and one in Ottawa, with Scott Knox and Knox Technology.
Welcome again to the Rebuild Shop. Just a quick update. Since we last spoke to you, we've been focusing on rebuilding one of the main ribs. We still have to clean up the old surfaces here, get them ready for priming, but they're more or less fully intact. There's a few little areas of corrosion, but nothing really to be worried about. So this rib will be able to easily withstand the static forces that's going to be required when it's sitting on its feet at Nanton. So I've taken an old piece of U-channel from phase 1 and repurposed it as a very long skill saw, or a jig to hold the skill saw. And what this is going to allow us to do is I've got a metal blade on this skill saw, which should cut the material quite nicely, and I can make nice long straight cuts with this, so I can actually, once this is all jigged up, I can reprofile by removing some of the material on the extrusions, get them into the shape that we need for the next phase of the rear spar.
In Sweden, we have discovered another Halifax, and SC divers are part of the recovery effort. Their recovery team arrived in Trenton to see the impressive Halifax NA337.
Can I start?
Wow. Is that big enough for you?
Geez, it's so big. I like that. That's a good word to use.
The cockpit window is 21 feet off the ground.
Since then, engines have been recovered, and we await the next step to this incredible aviation adventure. In the future, the work of Halifax 57 Rescue will be remembered for its volunteers, friends, sponsors, and associates for their work in preserving Canadian and world aviation history.